What the f*** was that?
James, 12 drinks.
There's something loose between my legs.
You mean like forever?
I don't know.
Tripping major nutsack.
Come on! No more radio for the rest of the race.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Reserve Drivers for another week.
It is good to be with you from the Hungarian GP.
3 Grand Prix in 3 weekends, and we can sum it up in 3 words.
2 seconds, Ted. 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 Oh, Ted, I'm just going to interrupt.
I'm Tim McDonald, and once again it's a pleasure to be joined by a man who, well, after last week, people were asking...
Does he need help?
He definitely needs help.
He definitely needs help. Luke Rocco, welcome back.
That's a given. If you've watched this show, you know that answer. Hey, great to be here. Our second episode for the year, our second season, our second time round. The reviews are in.
Doesn't feel like it's getting any better.
Definitely doesn't. Thanks for all your comments. Keep them coming in the comments below.
Tim, what a weekend. What a race. It started in chaos before the race even began.
Max Verstappen crashing out on the D formation lap, it turned out, ruined the front of his Red Bull. And interestingly enough, Max Verstappen isn't the only one.
Because people don't know this about us, is that we actually prepare pre-show.
You wouldn't know to watch the show, but we do prepare. We do a warm-up podcast every week before the main race, and we've actually got a bit of footage from this week's warm-up.
My mum makes mashed M&Ms on a Monday morning.
Lukey boy.
Hold on.
What?
My pen's broken.
What?
My pen broke.
We got 25 seconds until we're on air. What are we going to do?
I'll just use another one.
Hey, not even Red Bull mechanics can save this podcast, Lukey boy. It's off to a shocker. Congratulations, Lewis Hamilton, his 8th win in Hungary, Lukey boy. And
Was he racing?
Well, you wouldn't know it if you watched Sky's coverage.
And it's lights out and away we go. And it's the Hungarian Grand Prix for the 8th time for Lewis Hamilton.
And the 8th second he appeared on the coverage as well, by the way.
Hey, that is a driver in the peak of his powers. Literally, by turn 3, he was already pulling away from the pack.
And then we got to turn 4. I'll let Martin Brundle take up the rest.
Turn 4, followed by 5. You won't be surprised to hear.
6 next.
It is.
It is. And I have it on very good authority that turn 7 shortly followed.
You can actually visibly see Valtteri Bottas's body language change as Lewis becomes more and more dominant.
Well, it was hard to pick up from the post-race interviews.
That felt fantastic. It was like a victory for us.
This is the worst race of the year.
Not that you can tell from watching that footage. Still very much a porridge half full operator is Valtteri Bottas at the moment. Fantastic to be back in Hungary, Lukey boy, at the Hungaro Ring, and it's a track that many call...
Monaco without the boats. There are a few boats.
Monaco without the boats, but with the boats. And those boats were, of course, on the Danube River, which is one of the main rivers of Hungary, and Crofty was all over the Danube at the pre-race intro.
The Danube, you can see it on your screen, the only river that flows through 10 different countries. This track, slightly less long than the Danube itself.
Slightly less long than the Danube itself, and we can confirm that by going to the Danube graphics. That's the Danube. Let's have a look at it now. 2,850 kilometers long, 7,000 corners, 3,000 to the left, 4,000 to the right. Although in these modern F1 cars, they don't really notice turn 393.
But no DRS zone, Tim. This is great because I'm sure people tuned in to get a geography lesson.
That's part of Reserved Rivers podcast, which I'll be doing a little bit later on. What do the fans think of that one?
Does he need help?
He definitely needs help.
Well, I've spent the entire year's budget on those graphics, so it better be worth it.
Between you wasting the budget on that and me on my homemade mic, we've got nothing.
I was going to say, did the Red Bull mechanics have a go at your mic, Lukey boy?
No, it only took one man and a bit of heart.
Good to see it's above the table after last week. Hey, speaking of last week, I made this very sharp, accurate, biting observation. Well, there's been no tyre-to-tyre transmission, Lukey boy, despite the fact that the only people who weren't socially distancing on the weekend were the tyres. We had a laugh and we put it behind us.
Okay.
In a Reserve Drivers exclusive, I can reveal that senior executives high up in Formula One are listening to our show and they're taking action.
The soft tyre, the fastest tyre, but how long will it hold up?
They've socially distanced. The tyres are socially distancing. We did it.
We are causing ripple waves through the F1 world.
We are the most influential Formula One news podcast out there.
To the person who sets the tyres up for that shot, if you are watching right now, send us a message. Send us a signal. Tim, even though it's not like us to divert from talking about the race, I'd like to talk about something far more important, and that is Daniil Kvyat's vlogs.
You're a big fan, and you're the fan of the Daniil Kvyat post-race vlogs. What did you notice this week?
In a live Q&A that went
Live Q&A.
It went for 15 minutes. Daniel answered all kinds of questions,
So slightly shorter than his Q1 lap.
slightly shorter, but with a lot more silence.
Hello everyone. So I guess we are live now. So okay. Hope to speak to you soon.
Tough week for Danny Kvyat, Lukey boy. Even tougher week for his teammate, Pierre Gasly.
Now listen, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but this could be his worst week in Formula One. And just think about that.
Had engine problems the whole weekend.
Okay, massive one now. I feel like I'm destroying the engine.
He felt like he was destroying the engine, and it was over to Sky F1's Martin Brundle to provide this insightful analysis.
Did the drivers sound like Daleks to you, or is it that my ears gone?
Do the drivers sound like Daleks? Did they sound like Daleks to you, Lukey boy?
No.
This clip from Pierre Gasly post-race certainly did. That definitely sounded like Dalek to me.
Clip of the show, that one.
And it was wonderful for the Daleks to be involved last week at the Styrian Grand Prix, presenting the trophies. Well done to the Daleks.
I know F1 has made a commitment to diversity, but I'm not sure the robot community needs to be involved. Tim, despite there being cars on track, it does feel a little bit different because there's no fans in the stadium. But a great initiative by the people at the Hungaroring Ring and F1 as a whole, they've installed a jumbo fan cam screen.
I saw this.
And how cool! Fans across the world could enter. I entered 33 videos.
Did
none
you
of them
really?
were chosen. Yeah, I gave them our best bits from all last year, and surprisingly, none were chosen. We actually put out the competition to our fans to see if they wanted to send in their own fan footage. Here is the only entry. And just before we move on, Tim, I want to say it's a great initiative by Heineken and a great brand and a really good supportive...
What are you doing?
I'm just drinking a refreshing beverage by Heineken, a great beer product.
Last week you were name dropping. Now we're doing product integration.
Shamelessly. But a great initiative at the Hungaroring Ring. I did notice a familiar face get himself on the screen.
It's almost a version of Leave Me Alone, I don't know what I'm doing there. Oh, hello, Nico Rosberg.
Hello, Nico, indeed. Good
Hello,
old
Nico Vlogsberg. Wasn't it great to see Nico Vlogsberg back on a Formula One circuit, albeit on an LCD screen, Mickey boy? Although I was disturbed to see this during qualifying.
So we're going to try and get you some new angles on this thing.
Not the best fan cam I've ever seen, especially when it's shoved up your ass.
That would have put a few drivers off the pace, I'd say. Can I just say, I'm so annoyed. I tried my best to try to integrate a video into the fan cam, and I couldn't do it, and you've done it seamlessly. As seamless as that GoPro being shoved up Nico's ass.
Please don't be integrating anything up your ass, everybody. Please keep the GoPros
Public
away from the
service.
ass. But Nico Vlogsberg was back at it, Lukey boy, with a brand new vlog answering all your Formula One questions.
Is the Hungaroring one of the more physically demanding tracks on the calendar?
Well, it turns out Nico Vlogsberg's Hungary vlog is one of the most physically demanding vlogs ever.
It's corner after corner after corner. Bazzi, wait, careful. I'm answering the questions. Careful! Bazzi! I'm nearly done. I was actually finished.
His career is finished, I believe. Is Nico Vlogsberg's career over as a vlogger?
Hey, his relationship with Lewis Hamilton was less chaotic than what was going on that screen. Hey, you know what Nico needs? A nice, cool, refreshing beverage of Heineken.
You're watching The Reserve Drivers, and it's time for some of this.
Probably not the biggest piece of news you'll ever hear today.
And we've buried the lead, Lukey boy. The biggest story from the weekend.
Nicholas Latifi running in the points. So Williams in the points at the moment.
Are Williams in the
Wow.
points? What could go wrong? Turns out everything.
And a puncture there for Latifi.
Oh, that's how the Williams got a puncture. He spun round at turn one, and he has got a 5-second time penalty. Nicholas Latifi gets lapped. Oh dear.
Tim, this is not a time to be making fun of Williams. This is a time to be sensing a business opportunity. They're low on sponsorship. They're low on collaborations. This is our time to strike.
We're low on sponsorship. We're low on collaborations. We're worse than Williams.
The synergy is perfect.
Well, the weekend went from bad to worse for Latifi, Lukey boy. He was chatting to Johnny Herbert pre-race, and Johnny asked a question that, well, perhaps he shouldn't have.
In a race like this, anything could happen.
Yeah, and a few words in your own language.
My own language is English.
I'm being told that one. But do a bit of French. Do a bit of French.
I don't speak French good enough, yeah. Your own language.
Do a bit of Canadian, Nicholas. Do a bit of Canadian.
Do something. Poor Johnny Herbert. I mean, he clearly got thrown under the bus by the producers, but he did get what he wanted from Sebastian Vettel, who did share some words of his own language.
And a few words in your own language.
And Lukey boy, that certainly echoes the sentiments we've been receiving in the YouTube comments for you to start speaking in your own language.
Hey, listen, I only speak in one voice, and that's the voice of Heineken, a refreshing beverage.
You're watching The Reserve Drivers, and back by unpopular demand, our least requested segment, Lance Stroll's Yeah,
Oh, wow. Jeez, this is a blast from the past.
We've had 3 races in 3 weekends, and Lance Stroll uses 3 words in every post-race interview. Yeah, and and in this game, it's up to you, Lukey boy. Which word do you reckon he's going to say the most after qualifying in Hungary?
Okay, I have been glued to Formula One over the past 3 weeks, and categorically it has been, yeah. Specifically, yeah.
Let's go to the video.
Yeah, thank you. No, I mean, very, very happy at the moment. Yeah, the car was really strong all the way throughout qualifying, throughout the whole weekend, really. I mean, we've had the pace, and it was just about piecing it together during that qualifying session. So yeah, really great job by all the guys. I'm really pleased with the session, and now sights set on tomorrow, and gonna try and grab some big points.
Big points if you scored R at home. Well done, R. The R's have it.
That's not like Lance Stroll to let me down.
Well, there's a man that I don't want to hear speak in his own language. Lukey boy, well done, Lance Stroll. The R's have it.
Hey, let's talk about Haas. What a weekend. I want to talk about one of the great Haas characters. And this is a man we haven't seen in a long time. It's the Haas Media Manager Man.
Famous for standing in the background of Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen's press conferences.
Now, K-Mag is interviewed post-race. There's a little bit of a disturbance from the helicopter noise up top. And just take a look at how the Haas Media Manager Man sorts the situation.
Perfect timing, Kevin. Thanks for turning up. Do you want to go away? Kev, you guys rolled the dice. You played a brilliant...
Now, Tim, that is a man who is in charge of making sure the drivers don't do anything too provocative or outlandish. And he's just provoked an airstrike.
Kev, you guys rolled the dice. You played a brilliant...
If shooting down a helicopter isn't enough, just take a look at how the Haas Media Manager Man manages to let Buxton know that the interview is over on body language alone.
You know, with a car that can only qualify, at the top of Q1, I think it goes to show what an amazing job the team did today, and what an opportunistic effort it was today.
Great job, man. Really, really well done. Delighted for you guys. Thanks, Stuart.
I'll tell you what, if Haas can get their tyres going as well as that media manager man utilises that umbrella, there'll be a force.
But we have a name for him now. It's Stuart.
Stuart, and by golly, if you don't think we're going to try to get an interview with Stuart by the end of this season, then you obviously don't know us that well. A mixed bag for McLaren over the weekend. Neither here nor there, which is actually the name of another podcast that we have.
People wishing you and I, Lukey boy, were neither here nor there.
Thank you. But Lando Norris, forever the team man. Check out this picture that was released of him helping out the McLaren mechanics.
Wonderful gesture from Lando to hack into the electronics of Carlos's car. That was a lovely touch.
He's just getting it ready for Daniel Ricciardo next season. And it's not the first time he's taken on other roles in the McLaren team. I tell you what, it explains why Esteban Ocon was part of the Renault Young Barista program. Eh?
And Lando's going to be helping you out, Lukey boy, with your material next episode after that one.
That was a real mouthful. Similar to Heineken, of a refreshing beverage.
Yeah, but that's a good mouthful. Of course, one of the big talking points, Lukey boy, is the Racing Point Renault protest fiasco. It's still going. Renault again protesting Racing Point's car. And the FIA gave a little update as to how the protest is going.
I don't think it will be a debate trying to sort of play the detective and sort of find what happened.
It's not about playing the detective. Although they didn't tell that to Ted Kravitz. And I actually launched a protest against that vision when I saw it, Loki Boy. That is Ted Kravitz as the Pink Panther.
Along with a protest, there might be a restraining order a few people might administer.
Ted looks a little bit foolish there, Loki Boy, but when it comes to the investigation, he was asking all the right questions.
So if this was a Pink Panther movie, would you be the diamond thief?
Good question.
No, it wasn't. It was a terrible question. It was a terrible question, Otmar. But Ted's investigation did yield results, Lucky Boy, a key player at the centre of this saga.
I think we have. So it's just as a procedure, Alan Permain here, who is Mr. Protest from Renault, or Monsieur Protest.
Monsieur Protest from Renault, Lucky Boy, and in a reserve driver's exclusive, on the line, live via satellite, Monsieur Protest is set to join us, although I've just been called to the Weybridge, Lucky Boy, so would you mind taking over the interview?
Go on, I'll do my best. Monsieur Protest, good morning.
Bonjour, although I must protest.
The legality of the Racing Point vehicle.
No, it is in fact the evening. It is the evening. Good evening.
What?
I am submitting a protest against your introduction.
Okay, Tim's lost his mind. Okay. This time yesterday, he was on Australia's primetime comedy show, and now he's resorted to a dodgy French accent.
I do not know this team of who you speak, but on his behalf, I protest your accusations. If I may speak a few words in my own language.
How do you say annoying character in French?
Cyril Abitable.
Does Cyril Abitable keep his job next season?
I protest this question from you.
I'm going to protest the fact that we spent 45 minutes on Monsieur Protest.
I protest this interview. I go.
Fine. We're like McLaren and Red Bull. We don't want you. Oh no, don't go.
Sorry about that. What did I miss? Ted was in fine form all weekend, Lukey Boy, with another wonderful instalment of The Notebook.
Hiya!
The stories that matter.
When I tell you about the world's best brownie recipe, natural yogurt, that's the secret.
The most respected views.
Oh, don't you like the hot pink high-vis shirts of the Racing Point? They are something.
And the interviews that have everyone talking.
Do you think are all of these working? Hello. No. Testing. It needs to be plugged in.
There was absolutely no intention.
Can you answer?
That doesn't work.
All right, okay. All right, forget it. It's a terrible idea. I think that's a good place to take a break, don't you? Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, everyone.
Good to see Lazenby wielding his 10-foot boom pole, as mentioned from last week as well. Tim, it's time to take a trip down memory pit lane. We're taking a look at previous Hungarian Grand Prix, and we go back to 2011. Does that ring a bell, Tim?
Yeah, that was the year this episode started. Can we get a move on?
It was Jenson Button's 200th Grand Prix.
Jenson Button, friend of the show.
Massive friend of the show. And you know why we like Jenson? Is because he's a networker, a people pleaser, and he knows when the big dogs are in the room, you have to schmooze. Just take a look at how quickly Jenson snubs his very attractive girlfriend to mix it with Ross Brawn.
But his championship-winning year in 2009 with Brawn GP remained a career highlight.
And I actually have it on good authority that Jenson skipped his wedding to get the job for Sky Sports.
I have it on good authority that Jenson and Ross Brawn went to a hotel and 9 months later the double diffuser was born. What is going on there?
I'm doing a double edition of Memory Pit Lane because everyone wants that, I'm sure.
Double diffuser, double edition.
Take you back to 2013. Sauber, Hungarian Grand Prix. Nico Hulkenberg and your man, Tim, one of your favourites, Esteban Gutierrez.
I'm a big goot head. I love the goot. Love the gunt, but love the goot.
Take a look at Sauber's preview to the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Welcome to the Hungarian Grand Prix.
We're doing a special X Factor here.
This is the last Grand Prix before the summer break.
And we have prepared some special Sauber F1 machines for you.
Okay, so Sauber's X Factor. Now, I know you're thinking that's a little bit odd. Admittedly, it's a better game show than does Esteban Gutierrez have talent? Because we all know the answer to that one. Zing. Sorry, Esteban. No hate. But let's just take a look and find out if Sauber does have the X Factor.
Budapest late break and hard 70 meters. This one here is tricky. I think that one will catch you out here, Esteban. Now we come to my X factor on this circuit. I'm getting a cramp in my Leiste.
And my X factor, it's here.
The straight again, DRS curves. Really.
Now, Tim, a question for you. Have you ever had a cramp in your Leicester?
Mein Gott, Mutterstein is my response.
I tell you what, I'm starting to work out why Alfa Romeo was so keen to distance themselves from the Sauber name.
Lukey boy, in lockdown, we've all been looking for a new show to binge, and I found one for you.
Roll the tape.
Dr. Helmut Marko in Special Advisors in Sports Cars Keeping Stumm.
I mean, I don't even know what to say.
Keep Stumm, Lukey boy. This
Okay.
is my segment. Dr. Helmut Marko was taking a drive down memory pit lane, Lukey boy, revisiting some of the towns from his childhood and telling a couple of wonderful anecdotes from a young Helmut Marko.
Overs Haus von Bad Gysi.
Wer ist das?
So eine Dame, die sehr viel Einschulung übernommen
hat. That might explain Dr. Helmut Marko's steely resolve.
He might have been giving a bit of special advice, if you know what I mean.
Wouldn't be the first layoff he's given.
50 Shades of Helmet.
Anyone who's familiar with the show has known about my long campaign to out Dr. Helmut Marko as a Bond villain. I guess now it's more of a bondage villain.
We've got to jump out of here, Lukey boy. That's it for the reserve drivers for this week. Of course, we're off to...
Make sure you like and subscribe, and with any luck, we might do a show in our own language.
We'll see you then.
Rosie! I'm nearly done. I was actually finished.